How's everybody doing? All right, we're gonna give y'all just a couple more minutes to get in here. See, we have a couple of people who jumped in already. So you know me, I don't plan for this conversation to be long. It's gonna be very, hopefully, brief, quick, to the point, and then that's it. So probably no more than like 10 or 15 minutes. That's what I'm looking at. So hopefully it won't be long. All right, so we got about 6 of you all in here so far. Da-da-da-da. All right, so let's get started. It's one after. All right, so thank you all for coming at 11 p.m. I know it's late. Maybe it's not too late for some of y'all, but for me, it's kind of like I'm just wrapping up a dream class, and it's how to interpret your own dreams, which is a phenomenal class. So I'm just wrapping that class up. So now I'm here with you. So I'm actually in sort of a hype mood because when I finish classes, usually I'm still kind of hyped up about class and how class went. So anyway, so what we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight's topic, and I know I haven't done a live in quite a while. Just life is happening, and I just get a little busy. And so tonight we're going to do a live, and I'm going to continue to recreate my commitment to do more live streams as much as possible. So maybe like this 11 o'clock may work for me a little bit better than like during the middle of the day because I'm busy doing other things. So this might be a good time slot for me to do live streams. So I'll play around with this time slot. So this may work actually. So now let's get to the topic for tonight. Tonight, I want to have a quick conversation, as brief as possible. You know how that goes sometimes. My brief is sometimes, 45 minutes to an hour, but I want to keep this to like a 15-minute conversation. Because all I want to talk about tonight is, are you sleeping with the enemy? And so I know some of you will be like, sleep with the enemy? What do you mean? So this is what I mean by that. And this has come up actually in several divinations that I've done. And it has to do with your partner. It has to do with the people that you date. It has to do with the people that you choose to date. And this can even spill over to your friends as well. Just people who are just your friends. But we're just going to talk about dating right now. If we have time, we'll get into the friend part. So what we don't understand is that a lot of times when we get into relationships and the relationship is not working, regardless of what we do, it doesn't work. Regardless of what we say, it doesn't work. We go to counseling, we recommit ourselves to the relationship. There's so many things that we do, and we find that those relationships do not work. Well, they're probably not working. And a divination could actually tell whether or not what I'm going to say is true for you, because there could be some other reasons why. But your relationship probably is not working because the enemy that you're sleeping with is the star of the other person or of your partner. Because when you are dating someone, it is important that your stars are compatible. If your stars are not compatible, when you are dating the person, your stars will always be at odds with each other. They'll always fight. There'll always be conflict, which will trickle down to you and cause conflict and strife in your relationship for no reason at all. When you sit back and you think about, man, why do we keep having problems? Just can't get it right. And when you look at it, there's no real justification for the chaos that's in your relationship. It is because, not all the time, but there's a high probability that your star and your partner's star are not compatible. And so, for those of you who do not know what a star is, I'll break that down really quick. So, everybody is born with a star. So, that's just across the board. And your star, the best interpretation of a star that I can give you from a Western perspective is a guardian angel. Now, don't stop at guardian angel, because your star is like 1,000 times greater than a guardian angel. So um, within the pantheon, or among the pantheon of spirits, your star is actually among the most powerful spirits. And so your star is extremely, extremely powerful. And you could be sleeping with your enemy because your stars are not compatible. They're at odds with each other. Or your partner's star is weak or damaged and your star is shining bright. That happens. And it happens more times than not. So that's another reason why you could be in a relationship that no matter what you do, it is not working. It may occur to you that in this relationship, you are doing all the work. And it seems like your partner's not doing anything, like you're pulling all the weight. Consider that it's that person's star. Because if their star is damaged, that could cause an impact. But a divination will tell you exactly what it is. And so I'm just giving you some places to look if you're in a romantic relationship with someone, whether you're married or you're dating, and you can't seem to work, or the relationship seems like it's just not working at all. There's something going on spiritually, and I would look there first. And I would have somebody to look at your star. Look at the star, your star and the star of your mate, to see what is going on with both of those things. See if they've been compatible. Because being with someone that you are compatible with, that just where your stars are compatible, most of the things that you deal with in life, in relationships that cause conflict, won't cause conflict at all, because your stars will be harmonious. And so that's very important. So I'm going to give you an example of two stars that will be at odds with each other. So you have stars that, this is just an example, that maybe there are more places, but I'm just giving a few examples. Your star may live in water. Your star may live in fire. Your star might live in air. Now, when I say these things, do not, and I repeat, do not relate them to astrology, because that's something totally different. And I know that some of you who practice astrology, that's just the automatic thing to do. Be like, oh, I'm a fire person. Oh, I'm a water person. Oh, whatever that is. That has nothing to do with your star at all. Because I know people who are quote unquote fire signs and their star lives in water. So they have nothing to do with each other. So don't try to make them have something to do with each other, because they don't. Astrology sits alone by itself. Tradition sits over here by itself. So and they do not intermingle at all. So the example would be, if a man's star lived in water and a female star lived in fire, he could never possess her. They would always be at odds, because her star would always burn him, or would always burn his star. So he could never possess her. He could never have her. There would always be something there that keeps them not being able to have a full, healthy relationship together. So that's an example of your stars not being compatible. And it happens. It truly, truly, truly happens. I've seen it happen, actually. That's how I know it happens. And so it's very important to have a divination first, or even have a divination while you're in a relationship with someone. I've had people come to me to have a divination, to ask about their partners. And they know, like, wait a minute, there's something about this that's not right. And the first thing I do is I look at their star. And then there are people whose stars are not compatible. And I tell them, your stars are not compatible. That is the root of the conflict that you're having within your marriage, period. Or your stars are compatible. So let's look at something else. There's something else that's going on that's causing these issues. And it could be that, somebody, one of you in a relationship is not listening to the directives that you're being given in order for you to fulfill your purpose. I've seen that happen. And so that causes turmoil within yourself because you will always feel as though you're not being fulfilled. And when you're not being fulfilled and you have a partner, the first person you're going to look at is your partner because they're the closest to you. And so then you say, oh, my wife or my husband doesn't fulfill me. No, you're not fulfilling your purpose. And so that could be an issue. And so that would still be sleeping with the enemy as well. Because you're sleeping with someone or you're with someone who is not willing to do what it takes to fulfill their purpose so that their life can be easy, period. And it's not like somebody's fault because I promise you, most people have absolutely positively no clue that anything that I said exists. None at all. But I have seen it, period. That's why when you look at any indigenous tradition, I don't care what it is, it could be African, it could be Asian, doesn't matter what it is. If you look at the tradition itself, before someone gets married, there's always a divination done. I don't care if they call them oracles or they call them diviners or what. It doesn't matter what the title is. Their job is the same, and that's why, they would go and seek a divination from an elder who could actually tell them whether or not they were a match, and tell them, well, you're a match. However, there's going to be some difficulties, and this is what the difficulty is going to be, but you all will get past it if you do X, Y, Z. And here is something that will help you deal with the difficulty when it comes up. How about that? And you're setting yourself up to win. Or the elder may say, nah, not so much. This I promise you, this will not work at all. Period. And they can go so far as to even tell you what may happen in the relationship. Because I know someone who had a divination done, and the elders told them that if they married their partner would die in their house, something like that. So they can even give you that level of information. And then at that point, you have to choose. Regardless of how in love you are, how you feel about the person, you have to choose and be responsible for your choice at that point, because that's real. It's very real. So, like I said, I didn't have much to say at all tonight, contrary to, my previous live streams. So that's what I want to talk about, because that's been on my mind for actually over a month, to get that out and to let people know that sometimes you're in a relationship and it's not working. It's not because you're with a bad person. No, not at all. It's because your star and that person's star is not compatible at all. And it's really that simple. And even friends, what's that, 15 minutes? See, got a good minute or so. So I can talk about friends really quick. Even some friends you have, and you'll look and say, man, I'm in this toxic relationship with a friend. The same thing applies. Your star and that person's star might not be compatible at all, even though there are aspects of you that are great, but it's very toxic. And at that point, you can choose. And the best thing to do is for both of you all to know that, look, our stars aren't compatible. So then you're aware of that. So you can make adjustments if you all want to remain friends. You can be like, okay, I know, we're in this argument or this disagreement, and you'll know the source of it. You'll know the source of the upset. You'll know the source of the discontent, whatever that is for you. And then you can actually make a powerful choice around that and still remain friends. That's easy to do. So even with people who are our friends, even, believe it or not, family members, your star can be incompatible with a family member's star. And then it'll just be chaos. You just something about them. Y'all just never got along from the time you all were children. Never got along and still don't get along today. Because there's a high probability, like I said, divination could actually verify it. There's a high probability that your stars are not compatible, something like that, which will cause conflict, definitely. So yeah. But anyway, that's all I got tonight. I actually stayed on task. I'm about a minute over because we're like 15 minutes and like 45 seconds or something like that. That's all I got tonight. See, I kept it on point. So yeah, this is actually good. I can actually do these live streams at like 11 p.m. That actually works in my schedule. It really does, because it's really difficult for me to do a live stream like during the middle of the day, like when I normally do a live stream. And that's one of the reasons why I do one month, and then a month and a half, sometimes 2 months will pass and I don't do another one. It's because my schedule gets very, very busy sometimes. But this actually works. So anyway, that's all I got. I want you all to have a fantastic night. Definitely. And remember, if you got some problems, come have a divination. And that will it'll reveal what is possibly going on. Oh, I almost forgot. Also, for those of you who do not know, I give a free workshop once a month. And guess what? This upcoming Saturday is one of those free workshops. So if you are interested in that workshop, the workshop is going to be from 10 a.m. on Saturday until 2 p.m. That's the length of the workshop. And this week we are going to be, or this month rather, let me see, what's the topic for this month? It's actually a really, really good topic. This week it's about the responsibilities of having a shrine. And when you have a shrine, or when you have spirits that someone gave you that you should not have, or that you're not supposed to have, or that you're not ready for, because you need to be ready for that stuff. And I can tell you one thing for certain, two things for sure. If you do not have a solid ancestral connection, a solid foundation, and you have not gotten your bloodline in order, you're not ready. That I can guarantee you. So if you haven't done that, you are already not ready. But it's going to be a really good class. So I know a lot of you are interested in obtaining shrines and obtaining spiritual tools, but we're not always ready for the responsibility. I tell people all the time, when people come to me, or they come and I do rituals, what you see is the end result. That's what you see. You see me saying whatever I say, doing whatever I do, 86 and chicken, blah, 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 divining to see if it's accepted. Oh, that's beautiful. But the responsibility that I have for holding all of that, for creating the ritual, I have to go out into the bush and pick herbs. I can't go to the store and buy herbs. They have to come from nature. And so most people aren't there. Some people go with me. Most people aren't there when I go out and walk through the woods for 3 hours looking for herbs. Most people aren't there for that. So that's part of the responsibility that you may have. It looks glamorous to some people when they sit and they come and they see, rituals performed, and people want to come and see and watch and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's the glamorous part, because you see the end result, the end product. But you didn't go with me to go to the farm. You didn't go with me out into the bush to pick the herbs. You didn't sit there and skin the herbs. If you're getting roots, you have to take the skin off the roots. So it's a lot of prep work. There's a lot of responsibility that goes into having many spiritual tools, especially if you're going to do spiritual work. There's some tools. There's not a lot of responsibility and maintenance that goes into those. So anyway, I'm going to talk about all of that because I want people to be clear about what it takes to have a shrine. It's not something that you just sit in your house just for the sake of putting it there. You need to work it. And what does that look like working your shrine? How is that being, what responsibility, come with working your shrine? So that's what we're going to talk about on Saturday. So I look forward to having everybody there. I'm going to post a link to that particular class. I will leave that post in the various groups. Everybody who's in ARC, who's a member of ARC, you should have already gotten that information for the class or for the workshop on Saturday. You should have already gotten that. And so, but for everybody else in your respective groups, I will actually drop a link there also. And this is only for the people in ARC, just as a quick reminder. On what day is that? Also on Saturday at 3 p.m. Remember, we're going to have a talk about using your ancestor shrine, and that is open to people who just in ARC Part 1 who don't have your shrine yet, and for people who already have your shrine. It's open for both, because if you don't have your shrine yet, it's actually important that you begin to be in that conversation around having your shrine. So you'll when you actually get your shrine, you have an idea of what your shrine is about, how to use your shrine, because we're going to have conversations about that and various rituals that people can do at their shrine for things that they're dealing with. So that particular talk is going to happen once a month. So every month we're going to actually have that particular talk, and we're going to talk about the shrines. But if you're not in ARC, unfortunately, it's not for you, because there's specific things that we'll talk about that if you don't have certain knowledge of ancestors, it'll be so far over your head, you won't get it at all. So anyway, that's that. That's all I got. So everybody have a fantastic night, and I will see you all Saturday. Matter of fact, what's today? Thursday? I might start doing lives every Thursday. I'm going to pick a night. I'm going to play around with it, see what night is the best night to do them. But anyway, everybody have a fantastic night, and I will talk to you all on Saturday. Peace.